Yo, what is up, guys? So this is on page SEO part two. If you didn't watch part one, you're going to want to go back and watch that video because we're going to be continuing to build off of what we discussed then. So I covered really the basics in that video. So your website architecture, your URL structure, title tag, and meta description optimization, which are all the basics that you need to be able to move on to these parts and make this make sense. So we're going to start getting into a little bit higher level components of the page now. And we're going to start off with semantic HTML. And you're probably like, what the hell? I'm not technical. I don't know what semantic HTML is. And that's why we handle all of this for you. So, and this is also a reason that I prefer to code all of my websites. One, the performance and speed is just completely superior to a CMS when it's custom coded. And this allows us full, complete customization from the design to all the backend markup. And we're about to get into the importance of the backend markup here. So let's hop right into your navigation because your navigation is probably the most important of these between navigation, heading tags, sections, and footer. Actually, I'd probably put navigation and the heading tags together in level of importance, but your navigation is going to be super important. And in the backend code, so like these, what I have here across the H1, the nav, the section, and footer, this is just how it looks on the backend and the code on your website. So it's super important to identify this to search engines. So this is going to optimize for your pages to be discovered. It's going to identify your site hierarchy to the search engine because the search engine like Google is going to be crawling your website and need to understand the website. And you want to make it as easy as possible for them to understand all of the content across your website and what different sections of the pages are. And this is where you can also distribute the links that you find or deem most important, which are typically, your service pages and your location pages, because you're trying to rank for keywords across multiple locations. So basically, to sum up the navigation, it allows search engines to index your site, making all your content easy to rank, and it's probably the most important. Your H1, so what is an H1? What's an H2? So typically when you land on a website, right away you get hit with like a big, bold slogan, whatever it is, with call to actions underneath it. That's where your H1 is going to be. Then your H2 tags are going to identify each section below. So you might have your services section below your hero section, which will be identified in a heading 2, followed by further heading 2s for a how it works section, an about section, a contact section, right? So this just allows Google to identify the content relevancy. So you want to use your main keywords and your locations within these, but you need to also be optimizing for a good user experience. You can't just stuff keywords in there. You need to be providing valuable content to the user. So if you optimize for user experience, then you're optimizing for SEO at the same time. So your H1 will look something like your main service plus your location. And then if you can fit something about like your unique selling proposition in there, even better. H2 will be, your service plus location, identify your about section. We're just identifying the sections for Google here. And this plays into the next, I'm saying section a lot, but the H2 will identify these sections. So then within the section tags here, it just gives topical segmentation. So it's easier for search engines to then parse the differentiation between your hero section, your service section, your how it works section, and just going to boost keyword relevance for the targeted queries. By targeted queries, I mean what a user is potentially searching on Google to find your business. And then to end, to identify the end of the page with Google, we use footer. You can anchors to the end of the page. So you can be super strategic here because you can oftentimes probably have more links than in your main navigation here. And it's still going to identify the footer as a part of the navigation on your site. So why I mean you can be more strategic here is because you can't load up your main navigation with 20 different links because it's just going to lead to a bad user experience. They can't be on mobile and open up the mobile navigation and have 40 links. A user is going to bounce out of that. There's going to be too much. It's just going to be too heavy cognitive load on them that they're going to bounce out of that page. So again, optimizing for user experience. But down here, you can crunch some of these in there into your footer. So I like to typically have 3 sections within my footer. A main section where we link just to the above sections, to the contact, to the services section, etc. Then you can also have further internal and external links on there. So you can link out to your Google business profile. If you're on one of your location specific pages, you can have an external link out to the city page. And then another section, all 4 locations. So then you can link in there to the individual location pages that you built, which we talked about in the website architecture in part 1. So now that we understand the page structure, we need to look at internal linking from local optimization to building content silos and making all the pages easily crawlable for Google, because your main thing is like a lot of the importance of all of this up here and the internal linking is that you need to get your pages indexed on Google. And it's just become over time increasingly harder to get your pages indexed on Google. So in order to get them indexed, we'll get to this in a second, but this is going to be really important for you guys to understand. As I said before, you have to optimize for user experience, because if you're optimizing for user experiences, you're on your website, you're doing good SEO. So you need to be providing whatever the page is, if it's a location page or if it's a service specific to a location page, you need to provide valuable content to the reader that is actually going to help them build an understanding of your website. You can't have duplicate content across all different pages. Duplicate content is going to be flagged immediately, and those pages aren't going to index. If you do get them indexed, eventually they're probably going to become unindexed. So again, optimize for user experience. So let's look into local optimization. So when you're internal linking, an internal link is basically linking within your website to different pages. So this is an iterative process, because as you build out further pages, as you niche down and make those pages, you're going to want to link back to the other pages. So let me give you an example. So this is kind of like a crazy network that I'm going to try and make easily digestible for you guys. So you have your location page, and then you have a service for that location. So on that location page, you're going to link to the service for that location. And then from that page, you're also going to be linking back to that main location page. And then you're going to just web like that, all dispersed out through the site wherever it makes sense, because you're providing valuable content. You can't just be throwing a random link in there that isn't going to add to the user experience and have good readability. It has to make sense as you do it. And so when you're also internally linking, you have control of your anchor text. So this can be descriptive and use keywords within it. So my example is, professional carpet cleaning in X city. You can use this on one of those pages, and as they click that, they get sent to whatever other page that you want to direct them to within your web of your internal linking network. As I just went through that for local optimization, I really hit on the information within content silos. So, you're just building clusters in this web. If you're looking at a diagram, there's just going to be lines connecting everything everywhere. And this is going to help with then the third point, crawl efficiency, navigable indexing, because everything we need to do is we need to get these pages indexed. If these pages aren't indexed, you're not going to be able to rank in these locations for these keywords. Obviously, there's other things that you're doing on the outside, whether it's between your press releases, different backlinks, citations that may be linked to these location specific pages. But these are just some higher level. This is just higher level, and this isn't something that you can definitely make progress just having a location specific page, location service specific page with valuable content and get it indexed. But you're going to just build further authority by having this internal linking structure.